time today. The final day of the week. Final day before the final game of football. No more football after Sunday.
It's depressing.
We used to have a Pro Bowl after the Super Bowl, and it was actually like they played the game. Mm-hmm. So this is it. Last football game of the year. We'll talk a lot of Super Bowl today. The Chiefs and the Eagles, and the significance of the game with a win by either. The Chiefs is pretty obvious. What's the significance if the Eagles win? So we'll talk about that coming up today on the program. So a lot of things to get to today. Glad you're with us. Frangie and Carlyon La Selva with you now until 6 o'clock. Thanks to our friends at Big Chief Tire Company, the best tire company around, man, with 5 locations here on the First Coast. There's the north side, 2 on the west side. There's Orange Park now, and that's the newest location, and the south side on Phillips Highway. So if you want tires, automotive service, oil changes, brakes alignment, they do it all, and you can really trust them no matter who it is you talk to. If they've been to Big Chief, it's been a positive experience. It's pretty interesting stuff, and it's really true. So thanks to our friends at Big Chief, always a Big Chief Tire Friday on our program. All right, a lot of things to get to. Let's start with the Hall of Fame. You asked me yesterday, I think it was yesterday or the last couple of days, did I think Fred would get in? I said I wanted him to. Gosh, I think he's a better football player than some of the people that are getting into the Hall of Fame. Even if I'm being biased, it is what I believe. Pete Prisco, who will join us today, always says, put on the tape, and he's right. But I didn't think the gut was that he wasn't getting in. I think that was your gut as well. They only picked 4. And I didn't even know that was a thing. It is, because back in 2005 is the last time that happened. Jared Allen, Eric Allen, Sterling Sharp, Antonio Gates. Gates is a no-doubter. To me, Jared Allen's a no-doubter. I don't know. The other 2 are no-doubters to me. But I never criticize anybody that gets in. I never see someone get in and go, he shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. It's just not. In any of the Hall of Fames, I'm not going to do that. But I'm surprised it was only 4. Again, I didn't even realize that was a thing. I should have known, but I didn't. And I'm disappointed for Fred.
Well, not only was it just 4, you had, Sterling Sharp was not even a modern candidate. He was almost like a seniors elite, whatever they call it. So it really was just 3 guys that got in. So that's the disappointing thing. To me, it's not so much that Fred didn't get in, because I thought it was going to be a tough year anyway for him. But I did think 5 were going to get in. I thought Luke Kuechly would get in. I thought Suggs had a really good argument. I'm not a huge Vinatieri get into the Hall of Fame guy, but I would have understood it if he would have. Hard to tell the story of the NFL without him and those kicks, but still, it's a kicker. So I was just really surprised at only 3 making it, and that's a concern, because there's already a logjam, I think. Of candidates that I don't look at the list and say, oh boy, why is that guy on there? I think it's a pretty strong list. I thought Eli Manning certainly could have gotten in,
and is going to.
I would have voted for Eli Manning. I think that I understand the regular season numbers aren't spectacular, but he won 2 of the biggest games in NFL history. So it's hard for me to not include him. So that was the disappointing thing, and Pete has a better understanding of it. So I'll look forward to getting his thoughts, and he's been obviously very vocal on social media about they need to revamp the process. But I didn't realize that they had already made some changes, which is why this happened. And now certain guys, because of how they finished, are guaranteed to be finalists next year, like Kuechly. So anyway, it seems like it's gotten a little convoluted. So I'm looking forward to learning more about the process. But yeah, it's disappointing. Fred Taylor certainly is deserving of being in the Hall of Fame. But I think the real disappointment is now it's gotten even harder, because you've got 2 guys that probably should be in this class that are not. And so we'll see. And then obviously next year you've got Drew Brees, who's a lock, Larry Fitzgerald, who's a lock, Frank Gore, who has a good chance because he's 3rd all time in rushing. But that's one that I think could be a little interesting to see. But again, if you're Fred Taylor, Frank Gore is going to be eligible. You need Frank Gore to get in. Fred Taylor's not getting in before Frank Gore. Oh. So, you need, again, if you're a Jaguars fan, for multiple reasons, obviously, Frank Gore and his history with the Jags and getting Trevor Lawrence here. But that's the thing that I think makes it tough is now 26 looks unlikely. And if Frank Gore doesn't get in 26, then, when does it happen for Fred Taylor? I think eventually it will, but last night really did not help the cause at all.
Yeah, so I hope Fred gets in. I think Fred's a deserving candidate to get into the Hall of Fame, and I hope he gets it. Listen, we waited a long time with Tony Boselli. Tony waited longer than I think he should have. I don't think he should have had to wait as long as he did. I'm adamant about that. I don't believe that. I think he should have been in before he was, but he got in, and hopefully Fred will get in as well. All right, a lot of things to get to today. The Jags have announced their staff. Now, there's no surprises because the Jags have done a good job of telling us that who got hired along the way, but now we get to see it in totality, and we'll certainly talk about.
How about Edgar Bennett?
Yeah,
that's exciting.
Yeah, and there's no question about it. We're going to go through the entire staff, but you better believe it is.
Yeah, he's the receivers coach. He's been with the Raiders for several seasons. So,
and if people don't know,
one of the greatest players to ever come out of here.
And he was from people that don't know, he played at Riverside High School, which was then Lee High School. Was an outstanding player in the 80s at Lee. Again, now Riverside. Went on to Florida State. Was an outstanding fullback at Florida State and a damn good NFL player. So he's a guy that raised here, from here. Edgar's a Jacksonville guy. He moves along now to the long-time coach in the league, long time with Green Bay, and now you look up and Edgar Bennett's here. So we'll go through the entire staff, and I'm excited about that. So we'll go through all of our impressions of the staff. That's how we'll start the program. I'm excited about that. We will talk Super Bowl a little bit. You and I both picked the Eagles. After you gave 78 reasons why the Chiefs are going to win, then you picked the Eagles. Mm-hmm. I just picked the Eagles.
Well, you told me not to make a pick.
I did.
So I didn't. And then after I gave you kind of a synopsis of how the game will probably go, you're like, so you're picking the Chiefs.
You go, no, I'm picking the Eagles.
No, I'm not. So, and
I was hoping you were because I was going to take the Eagles. Yeah. I almost reversed it. I said, no, I think the Eagles are going to win. JJ, who do you think? You got the Chiefs?
Yeah.
It's until you, like Dave Campo told us, until you're the champion till you're not the champion, and I get it. I rarely,
I've never picked against the Chiefs.
I rarely have either, JJ, almost never. But something tells me that this is a more physical football team than they have played in any of these championship games. I don't know why I think that.
It's because it's true.
Yeah, I mean they are really a tough physical football team, and I think and much like Derrick Henry has been for so much of his career, Saquon Barkley is a game changer. He changes. I mean, I know that's a cliche word, but it is the perfect word for him because he changes how the game's played.
Right, because you could you could execute your assignment correctly,
right,
and he still scores.
Yeah, and
because he's just capable of making you miss.
And on 3rd and 8, you can hand it off. The one thing Derrick Henry always gave you was on 3rd and 6, you could hand it to him, and it's a first down. We're in an NFL now. Well, that's just unless you catch them off guard, unless you run a trap or a quick hitter or a draw that no one saw coming, you can't ever run it on 3rd and long, even 3rd and medium. But I think with him you can because he's a game changer. So, and you're right, you can do everything well defensively, and he still gets by. So we'll talk some Super Bowl today. I definitely want to get into that on the program today. We'll do a lot of that today. Pete Prisco will certainly help us. He's at the Super Bowl for the 36th straight time, which is really cool, by the way. So Pete will join us at the top of the hour, as he always does. Some hoop talk. The Gators play at Auburn. Do they have any chance at all? I got a thought or two about that. Looks like Walter Clayton Jr. is going to play. Elijah Martin got banged up a little bit, came back, which made him questionable, but my guess is everybody plays tomorrow. We'll certainly talk about the significance of that game. JU and UNF both win last night. UNF wins against Bellarmine. Bellarmine remains winless. JU, big win on the road. They went and got, you talked about it, and I think you hit it right, and I agreed with you. That was not must win, but sort of must win. A game they needed to win, and JU went to Stetson and won that game, so good for both the local teams. We'll certainly get to that.
What a battle the A-Sun is.
Did you see
at the top?
5 teams.
5 teams.
5, 8, and 3 teams in first place.
It is really, I can't ever remember really seeing any conference have this much competition at the very top. Somebody is going to be very happy, and somebody's going to be lucky to host a first-round game.
Yeah, 11 games into an 18-game season, so 60-some-odd% of the way home. 5 teams are tied with an 8-3 record. So you're right. It's a brutal thing there, no question. Hubie Brown's calling his final game. I want to talk about that a little bit. He's 91 years old.
It's amazing.
And he's going to call a game on national TV as a color commentator to the great Mike Breen. So a lot of things to get to. I'll tell you a little bit about a walk-off clinic we had today. Man, what a great
how'd it go?
Fantastic.
The weather was great.
Weather was fantastic. We had 185 kids. And I want to say this. I say it all the time, but I'm going to reiterate it. The Brad Frick, the coach at FSCJ, Reggie Johnson, the coach at Edward Waters, obviously Joe Mercadante, the coach at UNF, and our friend Chris Hays, the coach at JU, the 4 colleges in town, they always make sure we're covered. Last week week and a half ago, we had a clinic at JP Small, and Edward Waters had the entire team out there, including Reggie Johnson. Today, we had so many players, both Joe Mercadante from UNF and Chris Hays, the 2 head coaches, were out there today. We had so many coaches and players from UNF, JU, and FSCJ today. And I know I sound like a broken record. I won't go on and on. But Hays, I'm so impressed with this baseball community and how they do pay it forward. And they really do. All these, we probably had 25 players today from the local colleges to coach our kids, which is pretty amazing stuff. And they care about these kids, and the kids were wide-eyed, and it was a wonderful, wonderful thing. It really was. So thanks to all of them. We had a great clinic today, and I love it. And it's heartwarming for me every time we do it. So it was a wonderful day out at Bregan Baseball Complex today. So a lot of things to talk about. We'll talk some hoops coming up later on. We'll talk some Super Bowl. But when we come back, let's look at the Jaguars staff and give you our thoughts on what the staff means, what the staff is, how it will do. All that coming up. Some Jaguars football to kick off a Friday show. That's 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
He's the life of the party.
Tangle, let's all get down, get funky.
Joe C.
I do voices.
Join the radio party.
Play that funky music, white boy.
2 to 4
Let's play this backwards and see if it gets any better.
on 1010XL.
That'd be not take a business, no crabs.
Hey, sports fans, it's Hays Carlyon for MyBookie. Find your stride with MyBookie and take advantage of their live betting, especially if a heavy favorite gets off to a slow start. Also, check out their cool prop bets. If you haven't signed up, go to mybookie.ag and register for a free account. Use promo code 1010XL to get a 50% bump on your first deposit. For a limited time, MyBookie will add 50% to your initial deposit. Let's take a look at some updated MyBookie lines. The Chiefs are a 1-point favorite in the big game over the Eagles at the Superdome. The over-under is 49 points. There are also great player props that you've got to check out. Sign up with that promo code 1010XL to claim your deposit bonus. Again, it's a 50% bonus. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. And don't forget that promo code 1010XL.
When you're a little kid on the playground, they tell you don't hit back. Well, the courtroom isn't a playground. And if you've suffered an injury or death in your family, I'm here to tell you it's okay to hit back and fight to make them pay. I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and at Hastings Injury Law, we understand all the pain and emotion that comes with being wrong. And we've dedicated our lives to making things right for people like you. So if you get hit back with Hastings Injury Law. Offices, Jacksonville.
Taylor Doll here. Get your mammogram on the Buddy Bus Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 2 at the showroom of Renewal by Anderson Beach in San Pablo. Reserve your spot by calling 904-202-2499. 904-202-2499.
Do you have clicking, popping, swelling, or pain in your knee or shoulder? This can be due to arthritic changes in your joints. Over time, you have wear and tear of your cartilage. I am Dr. George Bari, and here at Bari Orthopedics, we have numerous ways to treat your arthritis, such as regenerative medicine, including PRP and joint replacements with CT guidance for accuracy down to the millimeter. If you are experiencing any of these symptoms, call us for an appointment today or log on to BariOrthopedics.com.
Find out more at BariOrthopedics.com. That's BAHRI Orthopedics.com.
It's time to get up and go to the Jacksonville RV Mega Show, Thursday through Sunday, February 6th through 9th at the Jacksonville Equestrian Center. It's Northeast Florida's largest RV show with hundreds of RVs on display, lifestyle booths, plus win $250 gift cards every day. Adults $10, kids under 12 free. Seniors get half off on Thursday. Military and first responders half off every day. Thursday through Saturday 9 to 5, Sunday 9 to 4. The Jacksonville RV Mega Show.
Mia here. Since 1982, Closets by Design has specialized in creating dream spaces for every budget. My designer, Frances, made the process so easy. She came to my house and designed a beautiful walk-in closet that's already so incredibly functional for me and old Beau Valentine. Call today to schedule your free in-home consultation at 1-800-293-3744 or visit closetsbydesign.com. And take advantage of extended savings this month. Get 40% off and another 15% off with 18-month special financing.
Hunters Know Patience is part of the game.
Just got to keep hunting.
Jeff Lageman, Captain Kevin Faber, and Captain Kirk Waltz on the Nimnit Outdoors Show. Presented by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning. Saturday morning from 7 to 10 on 1010XL.
Yo, E.T. here, and Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes through in the clutch every day, from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar, Twin Peaks. Scratch kitchen scores every time. Dig in the hand-smashed burgers, chef-inspired flatbreads, and more at your local lodge. Come on, somebody.
Don't miss the big game specials at Southern Steer Butcher. Check out our website for the big game snack attack, party combo, sampler combo, and the best buffalo dip you've ever had.
For tasty tips and juicy breasts, choose Southern Steer Butcher.
What could you do with an extra $75,000 right now, or even a couple $100,000? If you own a home, you can get that money in less than a week with Loan Pronto. Hey, Prosser here. Loan Pronto is the leader in quickly converting your home equity into cold hard cash, so you can pay off all your credit cards or start that home remodel. Loan Pronto has several easy options to let you access the cash from your home. There's virtually no paperwork, no cumbersome process, no junk fees, often no appraisals. Listen, the average homeowner now has over $300,000 in equity. That's your money. Use it. One client got $150,000 out and paid off all their credit cards, 2 car loans, and a personal loan, cutting their monthly expenses by $1,500. You can get approved in as little as 1 day, so act now with no hard credit pull up front. LoanPronto.com or 904-999-1508. Get the money you need for anything at 904-999-1508 or just go to LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Are you an experienced chiller technician and looking for a role where your skills are truly valued? It's time to make the move to Local 234, plumbers, pipe fitters, and HVAC technicians. You'll get top pay, comprehensive health and welfare benefits for your family, and a pension that doesn't come out of your pocket. Join the team that's got your back. Local 234, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit UA234.com to send your resume today.
Equal opportunity employer.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now back to a Big Chief Tire Friday on The Frangie Show. Big Chief Tire. Visit BigChiefService.com.
At night we ride the mansions of glory and suicide machines.
I told you once that Don't Stop is probably the best anthem in the rock era, in my opinion. This is my favorite anthem of the rock era, as you might have figured.
Yeah. It's hard to beat.
Born to Run, the Springsteen anthem, if ever there was one.
Did you ever hear the Smashing Pumpkins cover of this?
Did you really just ask me that? Yeah, did you really just ask me that?
It doesn't exist. Don't worry.
Okay.
It doesn't exist. Landslide does, but Born to Run does not.
As the guy said at the end of Absence of Malice. Have you thought about what you do for your next gig?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it time?
Yeah.
I've got the weekend.
Wilford Brimley looked at the guy.
I'm sure Red Lobster's looking for a waiter.
Did you saw Absence of Malice with Paul Newman?
I did not.
It was fantastic.
I did not.
Wilford Brimley then goes, "Hey, have you thought about what you do in your next job?" That's me just asking you that. So just so you know that. And you'd be a fantastic Red Lobster waiter.
Absolutely.
You could pull that off no, without a question. All right, the staff is in place. You know most of the names because the Jags have been very good about releasing them when they've been hired. But Grant Udinsky is the offensive coordinator. He's 28 years old. Shane Waldron, will be the pass game coordinator. Spencer Whipple will coach the quarterbacks. You know all these names. I won't go through every one of them. The new one was Edgar Bennett. I had not seen him interviewed, and I love the fact that Edgar's coming back to town. What a great guy. What a fantastic player. He's from here, and that's the name that was new. I think the rest of them we had heard at some point. You know, Anthony Campanile is the defensive coordinator. You know the names now. Matt Edwards, the line coach. Tim Lukabu is the linebackers coach. Anthony Perkins, the DBs. Again, there's so many of them have been announced. There's no point in reading them all because you've heard all the names. Anything jump out at you other than what we've all talked about? Youth, enthusiastic young coaches that are very highly regarded in the industry. I guess that's probably first and foremost for me.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it was my eyes immediately went to the offensive line hire, and Sean Sarrett is who Liam Cohen is going with. He has been in the league for 14 years, but he was the assistant offensive line coach last year in Minnesota. And Minnesota obviously did quite well. Obviously, he's got a tie to Grant Udisky. So, I mean, in looking at that, that's good to have that cohesiveness. So yeah, I mean, it's for the most part, it's a young group. Like we talked about, Edgar Bennett's been in the league for a long time. I mean, he was with the Raiders for the last 7 seasons. And then you look at the defensive backs coach, Ron Mielis, who's been in the league since '93. I think this is his 10th organization that he's worked for in the NFL. So he's 61 years old. So obviously he'll be the most experienced coach on staff. So yeah, I mean, I guess I'm a little surprised that, like, other than Edgar Bennett, who really we know more for being a local hero here for his playing career more than his coaching career. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you had told me the day they hired Liam Cohen that I basically wouldn't recognize a single player or a single coach that he hired on his staff,
right, I'd
be a little surprised by that. But again, he wanted to go super young. He mentions it in the email released by the team. He says, we already speak the same modern NFL language. So, obviously that was really important to Liam. And so again, it's exciting. It's a new chapter of Jaguars football, and I'm optimistic. So hopefully they'll be all great together.
Yeah, and listen, most of the time when a coach gets in place, the NFL or college, particularly NFL, you don't know the names of the assistant coaches. There's some a guy may pop up every now and then that you knew when Urban got the job because he had coached college football here. You knew Charlie Strong's name. You might have known Joe Cullen's name. You know what I mean? You knew some guys because he had been around, but for the most part, it's going to be a bunch of names you don't know, and it just is. So I'm with you. I am very intrigued by this group of young upstarts coaching, and I really am. I think the one that by the way, the obvious answer to this is I won't say the most important assistant coach. They're all important, and an offensive coordinator who's helping build a game plan for Trevor Lawrence. And obviously in Grant Udinski, and the quarterback coach who's going to be working closest with him, Spencer Whipple, are critically important coaches because you got to develop Trevor. So rather than getting into who's most important, there's a lot of guys are. But having said that, with that as sort of a backdrop, Hays, Anthony Campanile is the one I can't wait to watch what he does. What's the scheme? 4-3, 3-4, a lot of man, a lot of zone, a lot of that Tampa 2, a lot of cover 2. I can't wait to find those answers out. That to me is the most intriguing part. I got a pretty good idea what they're going to look like on offense because I watched the Bucs. I watched Kentucky. I've watched Sean McVay's Rams teams. I got a pretty good idea. When you turn on the TV or when you show up at the game, or in our case, calling the game, I think I know how it's going to look, right? I don't know what all the plays are. I don't know how well it's going to go, but I got a pretty good idea how I think it's going to look. I don't know how the defense is going to look. I guess you can look back at Green Bay, right? But I mean, I don't know. That part is I'm the most curious about, I should say, is what Anthony Campanile does with this defense.
Yeah, and he'll hold that close to the vest as he should for a while. But yeah, it will be really interesting to see. Again, we'll start to kind of get clues by who they go after.
Yeah, that's right.
In terms of personnel, but he joined JP Shadrick. The team's done a good job of interviewing.
Yeah, very good.
These high profile coordinators, and obviously Liam Cohen is the new coach, and JP asked him, what kind of scheme will we see, and he wasn't ready to reveal that. Talked more about like we've got to build the culture first before, and obviously he knows what they're going to do, so he just doesn't want it out there. But yeah, I agree. I mean, I think it's going to be really exciting and informative and just cool to see. Like, it may not work. Obviously, it's really hard to win in this league, as we have found out. So it may not work, but I'm excited because I feel like we're going to learn kind of a new philosophy of football. And I think that's exciting because it's not like the Jaguars. I think they're smart in what they're doing in terms of embracing modern football, but it's been out there a while now. So it's not like the Jaguars are venturing into uncharted waters. Like, several organizations have already been in these waters, obviously because of the McVay tree, obviously the Shanahan tree, things like that. So, but it does feel like, okay, so you're getting into something now where there's some proven success. So obviously these principles offensively, they're working at this level. And I do think the Jaguars have the talent to make those principles work at a high level here. That's the other thing that I think is really exciting is normally when you have a fresh start, new head coach, new general manager, normally you're looking at a year or two where they've got to kind of get things lined up before they can really contend. That's not the case here. I mean, the Jaguars have underachieved for the last season and a half. I think they are way more the division champion and the 8-3 team than they are the team that lost 18 of their final 23.
I do too.
And so, I think with, finding that edge, which I think Liam Cohen will bring, and a sophisticated offensive scheme, I think with the talent that's here and now everybody rowing in the same direction, I think there's a lot of reason to be optimistic that this will be, if they are not overwhelmed as a staff, which could happen. But if Liam Cohen and his staff are not overwhelmed, if they're not consistently losing the chess match on Sundays to older experienced staffs, I think they have a chance to win pretty big right out of the gate. I mean, again, a lot of that's because, they're in there with the Texans, the Colts, and the Titans. They just, frankly, I don't think any of them are very good. If the Jaguars were in a different division, it might be much more difficult putt. But I think they can step right in and win. I don't think that's spin. I don't think that's the organization trying to put a positive spin on things. Look at the talent they have. Look at what it looked like they were on their way to becoming before, for whatever reason, the edge went right out of the building. And I think they can get back to it. I mean, they're still a very young roster.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of that. They were 4-13. I don't think that's all coaching. I think when you're 4-13, you've got some areas of deficiency on your roster. But to your point, it's some of the key areas they're really good. I think their quarterback's going to be very good, and he now enters that a critical year 5 through 9. I think their pass rushers are very good if they get some help in the middle of the line. I think they've got one very good cornerback. I think they've got a budding superstar wide receiver. I certainly think they have some pieces. So I agree with you overall. But I think when you lose 13 games, it's more than you called the wrong plays. What I do think is they've clearly, in my opinion, it seems as though, and they haven't, no one's talked about their personnel, but knowing Tony Boselli and what he has said on the air ever since getting the gig is the same thing he said on our broadcast, or to me, to all of us, you got to build the line of scrimmage. Hearing Liam Cohen talk about it, he's made it pretty clear. So I think they've clearly identified, Hays, where there are personnel deficiencies, what they are. I mean, look.
And their deficiencies can be solved in an NFL offseason.
You would certainly think.
It's not like, this is going to require multiple off seasons to fix what they are lacking. What they're lacking, they can get offensive line, they can get D tackles, they can get safeties, they can get some edge and corner help, they can get a receiver, They can do all of that with the cap space they have and the draft picks they have.
And the reason they can, I totally agree with you, in large part is because the things you have to start with, quarterback, pass rushers, cover corner, premier receiver, they have.
Offensive tackles.
Offensive tackles, right. Good point. So the things you have to start with, it would appear they have. So that's what, the teams that have to rebuild, and when you got to start with the quarterback. If you don't have the quarterback, the rest doesn't matter.
Right.
And it feels like they've got the quarterback. They've got the offensive tackles. They've got the pass rushers. They've got a cover corner. They've got a really good receiver. And they got some other good players too. But those are the foundational pieces that teams can't be good until they have that. And it does feel like. So I agree with you. I think you can get better very quickly. Boy, you got to build the line of scrimmage, man. Look, you need another cover corner. You need better safety play. You need a dynamic receiver to go with BTJ. Nobody debates any of that. But you got to build the line of scrimmage, man. They've got to build the line of scrimmage. Look back at the last 2 years. If they can block well enough for Trevor to score on a quarterback sneak 2 years ago, they win the division. That's the bottom line. If they can run it all last year, their offense would have been better. If the tackles had given any help, the defensive tackles had given any help at all to the pass rushers last year, the defense would have been a little bit better. So just, if nothing else, my goodness, build those line of scrimmage. That's why for me, and I'm not mock draft guy yet, but we all look a little bit, right? But not counting what they do or don't do in free agency, that's why for me, and I think you agreed with this, but I know as good as the receiver is in Arizona, as good as the cover corner is at Michigan, give me the Michigan tackle. Give me Mason Graham. And again, that could change based on what they do or don't do in free agency. I know that. But for today, build the lines of scrimmage, man. I think that is still so very important. So, and I agree with you. I think you can fix it sooner rather than later. All right, more NFL talk coming at the top of the hour. We'll talk some Super Bowl. We'll talk about the Jaguars staff. All that coming up with Pete Prisco, who is live at the Super Bowl. That comes up. He's in New Orleans in about a half an hour. But when we come back, let's talk some college basketball. Can the Gators win? Where are they now in terms of are they a 2 seed today? What will they be on Monday? We'll talk a little bit about JU and UNF's wins. We'll talk some college basketball across the board after this. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show. From the Harold and Harold studio, don't settle for less than you deserve.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. But when it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
1010XL is your home for Jacksonville University basketball.
The Dolphins swim back to Swisher Gym. J.U. Bellerman. Tomorrow at 7 on 1010XL.
I'm Holt Harrell. I was talking to someone the other day, and they were shocked that some lawyers get more from a case than their own client. After paying bills and costs, if we are supposed to get more than a client, we won't. That's the Harrell and Harrell promise. When we say that we treat our clients like family, we mean it. If you've been in an accident, call us today. 251-1111. Harrell and Harrell. Offices, Jacksonville.
Get this thing unwrapped here.
Praz, what in the world are you doing working on your Duval?
That's right, man. I really identify with Duval.
You live in St. John's County, knucklehead.
I mean the Duval sub, the Daily Stash Duval. Turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheeses. Lettuce, tomato, crispy and fresh, like me. I'm sure there's a Daily Stash sub that sums you up.
The boss.
Because, of course.
Oven roasted beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions. It's the boss of all subs. Only available for me.
That's just not true.
What do you mean? I walked in the other day, screamed, "You know it!" and said, "A boss for a boss."
Well, no matter who you are, there is a Daily Stash sandwich or sub for you.
Go find yours. They may even make you a boss.
I'm sure they will, because it is Daily Stash.
Where more is better.
And you got that right.
Pick here for Bound 9 Associates, where you'll find Jacksonville's most esteemed eye doctors at each of their locations. After being selected for one of the most competitive ophthalmology fellowships in the world, Dr. Frank Bowden is frequently called upon for his expert opinion. He is currently one of the few cornea and external disease specialists in the area and the founder of Bowden Eye. Visit Bowden Eye & Associates today and experience the difference. Bowden Eye & Associates, keeping the First Coast focused.
Give a unique gift this Valentine's Day to that special person in your life with a custom-made candle or body care product from Wick, a candle bar. Locations in San Marco and Jax Beach.
Best Bet is number one. That's right, Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine have one-card poker, the fastest and easiest card game to learn and play. Play one card at a time, and the highest card wins even money. If the card values are the same, it's time for war, just like the game you remember. You must be 18 years or older to play. Learn all the games at bestbetjax.com. That's bestbetjax.com.
Visit Monahan Jewelers now through Valentine's Day for savings on all GIA-certified diamonds and discounts store-wide up to 40% off and interest-free financing on all purchases. Certified diamonds, gemstones, engagement rings, diamond studs, designer brands. Monahan's has it all. We're not a chain store. We're your local family jeweler since 1977 with a world-class inventory of fine jewelry and diamonds and gemstones available in any size. Support your local family jeweler now through Valentine's with huge savings on our inventory. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser share the huddle with Freddie T. Monday morning running back with Fred Taylor is fueled by Epstein and Robbins and Monahan Jewelers.
Fred Taylor, he's a candidate to go the distance.
On 1010XL.
Listen up, Ospreys. UNF homecoming week is just around the corner. You don't want to miss the festivities, especially the Birds of Trade, as the UNF men's basketball team hosts Bellarmine Thursday, February 6th, and FGCU Saturday, February 8th at UNF Arena, tipping off at 5. Show off your pride and reconnect with your alma mater. Thursday, February 6th at 8 and Saturday, February 8th at 5. Visit UNFOspreys.com/buy tickets now to secure your seats. Swoop!
Hicken here with my concierge doctor, Richard Townsend. Doc T, how does a concierge direct primary care operate?
We are a membership-based primary care made directly between a patient and physician. We'll have a limited amount of patients that allows us to give unlimited access and personal service to you. This individualized approach has been shown to lower hospitalizations as well as maintain healthier lives. We also give 24/7 access via phone to me outside of our scheduled office hours.
To learn more, go to mypvconcierge.com.
Attention skilled electricians. Are you undervalued at your current company? Time to step up to the bigger projects and better opportunities. Join the team at Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering not just the job, but an experienced, top-notch pay, unbeatable benefits, and the best working environments in the business. Please join the team that values your skills and rewards your hard work. Elevate your career to new heights. Apply today at millercareers.com, an equal opportunity employer.
Guys, Valentine's Day is coming. Don't run out of time. Jacksonville Flower Market on Beach and Southside has fresh, beautiful flowers she'll love. Mention radio to get 10% off. They'll even customize the bouquet so it's unique to her. Jacksonville Flower Market on Beach and Southside.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now back to a Big Chief Tire Friday on the Frangie Show. Big Chief Tire. Visit BigChiefService.com.
And all those locations in Jacksonville, my friends, the Parmans, Reed Parman and Kelsey, what a wonderful family, and they run that thing, and they do a fantastic job. They really do. 5 locations in town. Phillips Highway's over here on the south side, 2 on the west side, the north side, and then, of course, in Orange Park. Frangie Carlyon, La Selva with you as we wind down on a Friday, a beautiful day out here. We've had such nice weather after being Alaska for about 3 weeks. Man, it was cold.
It was brutal. But it looks like we've got at least 10 more great days ahead of us.
I think the freezing is over.
Yeah.
Okay?
Well, 10 great days of weather. That gets us to February 17th.
Yeah.
We could still have a couple weeks of cold, but we don't. Once you get to like March 1st here, it's very unusual. At least, I mean, novice here, but it seems like it's very unusual once we get into March that it gets like even close to the misery that we had to endure for 2 weeks there.
Should I go ahead and dig up the Hawaiian tea and crotons and replant them? See, I don't want another freeze, Hayes. If I say I got these tea trees,
I think
that I really
you
like.
might be okay. I mean,
what happened is I haven't pulled them up yet because I want to use the hole. I want to put back in the hole. Hayes, it's all about strategy. I've tried to coach you as long as I've known you. Life's about strategy. So if you leave but they look all dead. We got all the good flowers and the mulch because I'm the world's greatest mulcher, but they look dead. So I may yank up the tea trees and put in crotons and put the new ones in. I just need advice.
One thing that I like.
I need an ear. So sometimes you just need an ear.
Here's what I would say. One thing that I like about like flowers and things like that, you can get really nice stuff and you don't have to spend. Like, they're not that expensive. And so, like, I would say, like, go do it. And, what are you out? $50?
Yeah, I'm going to yank them up, put in the new ones. Yeah, if it freezes, I'll get more new ones.
Right.
You're a common sense thinker. That's why I hang out with you.
I try.
It's a very logical thing. I think we do that this weekend. In fact, I think I'm going to do it this weekend. So there's that.
And make sure to take video if you're throwing mulch.
Oh, absolutely, I will. It'll go viral, so exactly. We got to deal with that. You made the comment yesterday, and I agree with it. Pretty much to a point that Florida Auburn is house money. No one's beating Auburn these days, and certainly no one's beating them there. They've had 68 straight sellouts or something like that.
And you're not going to catch them for the regular season title.
Right. That's right. So you're not playing correct. So yet it's house money in that no one's going to look down on you if you lose that game. What you don't want is a repeat of at Tennessee. You don't want to send your team the message, or for your team to send the message outward, if you will, that they can no longer hang with the big boys. They're ranked 5th. So they are one of the big boys. And I think if you go up there and you get beat 81-68, it's not the end of the world. I think if you get beat 85-40, people start doubting it. I mean, you can lay an egg once and okay, it was that night. Tennessee couldn't miss. Same thing when Tennessee went to Florida. But so I think there is some significance of playing hard, not laying an egg, and not getting into one of those funks they get into, Hayes, where they just can't get an open shot. When Florida gets into a funk, the offensive rhythm is so bad, there's no good looks. And they're going to have Clayton, it looks like, but I still have to believe it's not 100% Clayton, So I think it's important they play well tomorrow. It's not significant that they win the game tomorrow, but I think there is some importance to playing well.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, look, it's a great opportunity. I mean, if you want to be a 1 seed, go win tomorrow at Auburn. And chances are when that new net ranking, the daily net, bounces out on Sunday morning from the NCAA, chances are you're going to be moving ahead of a Tennessee, a Houston, probably not Duke, who's 20-2, 5-2 with quad 1 wins, and Auburn isn't going to fall back. Even with a loss, Auburn would stay at 1. Again, it's just remarkable to me. They are 12-1 in quad 1 games. No one else in the country has more than 7 quad 1 wins. Auburn has 5 more than everybody else. It's just remarkable how good Auburn has been. And so, but if Florida, look, Auburn's probably not going to win out. They've won 14 in a row. They're probably not going to cut down the nets in San Antonio, having only lost 1 game this season. So you're probably getting them at the right time. I mean, yeah, it's in their house, but it's been a while since they've tasted defeat. So maybe they're a little bit of, not having the normal edge they would have, the edge that Florida might have from having been embarrassed in Knoxville a week ago. So if Florida's able to get the win, I mean, I think they're right in the running for a 1 seed. And you can't discount, I mean, they'd be 2 games back of Auburn in the SEC race. I just think Florida's got more losses coming. So I think it's going to be hard for them, even with a win, to still then make up a 2-game hole against a team as good as Auburn,
right,
who's already shown they can win without their best player. So it's hard to imagine an injury derailing Auburn. And what are the odds that they're going to have 2 or 3 guys go down? But yeah, I think stylistically Florida matches up better with Auburn than they did Tennessee. Auburn is good defensively, but they're definitely more of an offensive team. So I would think it's going to be played at an incredibly fast pace. Obviously, Todd Golden is a former pupil of Bruce Pearl's. So, I mean, I think it'll be a really entertaining game. I think Auburn wins, but it'll be like 101-0 95. It'll be like maybe the Kentucky game at Rupp.
Here's one thing where I will say that concerns me a little bit about the seedings. I know they're fifth. They're fourth or fifth in the net?
Fifth in the net.
Fifth in the net, fifth in the polls. But what does concern me if they start losing a few games, their strength of schedule is not good. That's probably where their overall their out of conference strength of schedule is terrible. Their overall strength of schedule is better because they play in the league, but they're not like one of these teams that's the top 5, top 10 strength of schedule team. Their out of conference is in the 200s, I think.
The reason I understand that concern, but I think Florida has some wiggle room in terms of, I'm talking like falling to like a 4 seed, because Florida's 19-3, and when you go through the net, like a lot of the teams that are in the 8 to 20 range, like Kansas has lost 6 times. Kansas is 8th. Arizona's 9th. They've lost 6 times. Purdue is 10th. They've lost 5 times. Iowa State is 11th. They've lost 5 times. Gonzaga is 12th. They've lost 7 times. A&M's lost 5 times. They're 13th. Illinois is 14th. They're 15-8 overall. So it feels like Florida has a couple of losses they could take on and probably not really drop much at all. But if they were to lose like 5 of 6,
right,
or something like that, which I'd be surprised if the team this talented that would happen to. But yeah, I mean, that's what I think it would take for them to start falling beyond like the 4 seed conversation.
Yeah, I can tell you this. That's why that Vanderbilt win was so important. Vanderbilt's got a good team, but the significance of that was you don't want to get on one of these losing stretches. Now, all right, they lost badly to Tennessee, then he came back and beat Vanderbilt. Lose tomorrow, which I think they're going to. If you beat Mississippi State, you've now hung that 2-2 we talked about in that tough stretch. Now you're 7-4. Here's what's next. Home games against South Carolina and Oklahoma, road game at LSU, road game at Georgia. That is 4 straight games against unranked teams. Remember, you will have played 4 straight ranked teams. Then you play 4 straight unranked teams. Then you finish against 3 teams that, at least as of today, are ranked teams. So the significance of that is although 2 of those are at home, get through that thing 2-2. Well, then you might be looking, if you let's say you lose tomorrow and win at Mississippi State, and you're 7-4.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then you might be looking at a 12-6 conference season. Then you might be looking at 12-6. Now you get to 12-6, and so you get to the tournament 25-6. Do you get to the SEC tournament 25-6? Well, now you've locked up a top, at worst, a top 4 seed, and maybe a 2 or 3 seed.
If they go 25, they're not going to.
Yeah, 25-6.
They'll be a 2 or a 3.
Yeah, that's
for
right.
sure.
I agree. So my point is, you've really locked up a good.
Because again, the thing with Florida. Now, maybe they have the opportunity to take on some bad losses in the stretch that you mentioned once they get beyond Mississippi State. But again, it goes back to, like, Florida right now, one of the best things about their resume is they don't have a bad loss. All 3 of their losses were quad 1 games. Auburn would be obviously an elite quad 1 game. So losing to Auburn isn't going to hurt them. That's the thing they need to avoid. They need to avoid losing like to South Carolina, to LSU, because that is something the committee will look at, particularly when they're trying to kind of break a tie on should this team be the last 2 or the first 3. And, and so right now, Florida's losses, Kentucky, Missouri, and Tennessee, those do not hurt them.
Correct.
And so if Florida can avoid even a quad 2 loss they don't have right now, that usually doesn't kill you. But if they can avoid the quad 3, I don't think there's any SEC teams that'll be quad 4. So in looking at it, they're in really good shape. I mean, they've got some, I would say, like Auburn has slack as the number 1 overall seed. I think Florida has some slack in terms of maintaining a 2 seed. But yeah, I mean, they just have to avoid if they can split against Auburn and Mississippi State, and then they can hold serve in that 4-game stretch where they're playing kind of the bottom teams in the league. Yeah, there's no reason that they shouldn't be. And again, it's not out of the realm. They couldn't get a 1. They're going to have to probably win at Alabama, who's right there. Alabama is 6th in the net. Lenardi actually has Alabama as a 1 seed. He's got Alabama, Tennessee, and Auburn as 1 seeds coming out of the SEC. It's incredible.
So now let's get to the ASUN for a second. You told a story earlier. 5 teams at 8. Take us through the standings. There's five teams. Again, we're 11 games in to an 18-game conference schedule. There's 5 teams tied at 8-3 atop the league, including JU.
Yeah, it's really remarkable when you look at it. So Gulf Coast is 8-3. They lost last night. So that was big because they had the sole possession of first. So Gulf Coast losing, I believe they lost to Eastern Kentucky, who's won 4 in a row. They're now 7-4. So that's another team. We've talked about UNF's getting hot. UNF's won 3 straight.
They're 6-5
to get to 6-5. Eastern Kentucky's won 4 straight to get to 7-4. So that's exciting because 2 of the teams that aren't even in the first place logjam are the hottest teams in conference. Queens has won 3 in a row. They're one of the teams in first. But yeah, you've got Gulf Coast, JU, Queens, North Alabama, and Lipscomb, all 8-3 right now. So, obviously it's going to be an incredible race because we know 10 teams make it. So, you're in a point where you could be playing at home as the one, having home court throughout the ASUN tournament, and playing the 10 seed in your first game versus you could be the odd man out of this group. And yes, you're playing the first round at home, but you're playing a team like an Eastern Kentucky or a UNF who could absolutely go into your house and beat you.
Now, and as far as so JU's 8-3, excuse me, 8-3, UNF is 6-5, so they're all in it. They're only 2 games back. But listen to the brutal schedule. The ASUN schedule makers were not good to either of our local schools. JU plays Bellarmine at home tomorrow. I would assume they're going to win that game. Bellarmine's winless in the league. Like you said, they may get somebody, but I would assume JU's going to win that game.
Yes.
That would make them 9-3 in the league. The next 4 games are on the road. 4 straight home games. At Central Arkansas, at North Alabama, at Gulf Coast, and at UNF. So that's 4 straight road games for JU. That's going to be tough.
That's one that if you go 2-2, you probably normally would be okay with.
Correct.
But how much ground will you lose when you're tied with 4 other teams for first?
So that's a brutal schedule. How about this if you're UNF? UNF has a home game against a really good Gulf Coast team. Then they play 4 of their next 5 on the road. At North Alabama, at Central Arkansas, at Stetson. The one home game is JU, which is your brutal rival game, and then back on the road to play at Gulf Coast. You got to play Gulf Coast twice in this next stretch. You've got to play 4 of your next 5 games are on the road. You're again, that's not correct. Play Gulf Coast, and then 4 of the next 5 are on the road. So Gulf Coast twice, 3 other road games, and a home game against JU. So both JU and UNF have brutal schedules as they try and win, or certainly win the regular season title, or certainly at least earn a home game. But it's been fun. This ASUN has been fun. It's been fun to watch them. It's been fun to watch both local teams who are playing well. Again, UNF 3 straight wins, are up to 6-5 in the league. JU a big win to kind of stop the bleeding, as we talked about yesterday. They're up to 8-3 and in first place in the league, and a fun stretch, a fun home stretch for both teams. And by the way, their conference tournaments earlier, so they are done. The last regular season game for either team is February 26th.
Wow, they'll be here before we know it.
Yeah, you're going to blink. I mean, it's February 7th now. So a fun home stretch in the ASUN if you follow JU and UNF, and we certainly do. Let's take a break. Back to football after this. Pete Prisco joins us. It's 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
As the countdown begins, it's good to know there is still one number you can always count on.
1010XL.
Tax season is here, and your refund can go further at Big Chief Tire. Frank Frangie here. Put the extra cash to work by investing in your vehicle, whether it's overdue maintenance, brake repairs, or new tires. Their skilled technicians will help you get the most out of every dollar. With 5 Jacksonville locations, fair prices, and trusted service, Big Chief Tire has everything you need to hit the road with confidence. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com or call 904-932-0950 today. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rolling.
Don't miss the big game specials at Southern Steer Butcher. Check out our website for the big game snack attack, party combo, sampler combo, and the best buffalo dip you've ever had.
For tasty tips and juicy breasts, choose Southern Steer Butcher.
Roses are red, violets are blue. A broken pipe? That's no way to woo. This Valentine's Day, don't let plumbing or HVAC problems ruin the romance. Whether it's a leaky faucet, a backed-up septic tank, or a heater that's colder than your ex's heart, Duck Rooter is here to save the day. Our expert team will fix it fast and at a fair price so you can get back to the love you deserve. When you're stuck, call the Duck, 904-862-6769 or online at duckduckrooter.com.
It all begins with Speed Weeks, presented by Advent Health, February 12th through 16th. The Daytona 500 is sold out, but you can still win a 4-pack of tickets to all the other Speed Weeks races. What driver won the 2024 Daytona 500? Text the driver's last name to 641-1010. What driver won the 2024 Daytona 500? For a chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to the Speed Weeks races, text the driver's last name to 641-1010.
If your high school student is a high performer, they could be 1010XL Scholar Athlete of the Week.
Brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
And the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234.
Wednesdays on The Frangie Show.
On 1010XL.
The 1010XL Restaurant of the Day.
Moss Fire Grill in Riverside. Happy hour 3 to 7 with drafts, margaritas, and handcrafted bites starting at only $5. Moss Fire Grill.
See you on the rooftop.
Upgrade your home with the winning combination of style and performance from Renewal by Andersen. Energy efficient, custom-built replacement windows and doors. For a limited time, buy 4 windows or patio doors and get the 5th free. Plus, 0 down, no payments, and no interest for 18 months. This offer expires February 28th. Renewal by Andersen, proud partner of the Florida Gators. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation.
License number CGC 1527613.
3D Digital has you covered for any of your business's digital marketing needs. From producing award-winning videos to getting those digital ads to follow your customers around the internet, our team has your back. Visit 3ddigital.com or give us a call at 904-712-4004 to schedule a free consultation today. 904-712-4004.
It's game time for your business, and Advanced Business Solutions has the winning play. With Xerox copiers, you'll never miss a deadline. Fast, reliable, and built for high performance, Xerox copiers keep your team ahead of the competition. From printing to scanning, Xerox brings the MVPs of efficiency to your office. Ready to make the winning move? Hire the champions at Advanced Business Solutions. Veteran owned.
Printers, copiers, and IT management. Advanced Business Solutions.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
It's time to get up and go to the Jacksonville RV Mega Show. Thursday through Sunday, February 6th through 9th at the Jacksonville Equestrian Center. It's Northeast Florida's largest RV show with hundreds of RVs on display. Lifestyle booths, plus win $250 gift cards every day. Adults $10, kids under 12 free. Seniors get half off on Thursday. Military and first responders half off every day. Thursday through Saturday 9 to 5, Sunday 9 to 4. The Jacksonville RV Mega Show.
Hey, sports fans, it's Hays Carlyon from MyBookie. Eagles and Chiefs, this isn't just the biggest game of the year. It's the ultimate betting event. If you're not on MyBookie, you're missing out on the action. Big game betting with MyBookie goes beyond just picking the winner. We've got all the wild props you can think of for this epic showdown. MyBookie loves giving you options to bet on everything. What really makes MyBookie stand out, we make it easy to win and even easier to get paid. Whether you deposit with crypto or credit, bonuses await, and our new loyalty program gives you cash back just for playing. Bet on big game boosted parlays, live betting, and jackpots that can turn small bets into big wins. Fast signups, lightning fast payouts. This is where winners play. Why just watch when you can own the big game? Sign up with MyBookie now. Use promo code 1010XL and get your 50% sign-up bonus to kick things off. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere, only with MyBookie.
Is your dog Team Rough or Team Fluff? It's officially Puppy Bowl season at Dogtopia Jacksonville Beach Boulevard. They're getting MVPs, most valuable pups, ready for the big game. Your dog deserves a tail-wagging day of fun, and Dogtopia's indoor playrooms are the perfect training ground for their game day moment. Get your dog in on all the action by visiting Dogtopia Jacksonville, Beach Boulevard, and St. John's Bluff. New to the pack? Enjoy a free day of daycare. Mention Puppy Bowl when booking to claim the offer.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm RJ Saunders for 1010XL. This update brought to you by Southern Oak Insurance. The University of Florida baseball team resumed spring baseball with their third week of open practice. The Gators scrimmage today and will continue on Saturday, Sunday, and Tuesday before an off day on next Wednesday. Florida opens the 2025 regular season at home on February 14th against Air Force at 6:30 p.m., hosting the Falcons for a 3-game series for the first time in program history. Following their 95-88 home victory inside UNF Arena on Thursday night, North Florida will stay put in Jacksonville, with Florida Gulf Coast coming to town on Saturday, February 8th at 5 p.m. in UNF Arena. Currently 75 degrees at 5 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now back to a Big Chief Tire Friday on The Frangie Show. Big Chief Tire. Visit BigChiefService.com.
All right, 1 hour to go in the program, 1 hour to go in the week. We were not able to connect yet with Pete Prisco. Hopefully we will. He is in New Orleans getting set for the Super Bowl. If not, we'll certainly catch up with him next week after the fact. Frangie and Carlyon, JJ LaSelva with you, but let's talk a little bit about it. What does Philadelphia have to do to win the game, Hayes? The obvious thing is, run the ball, be the more physical team. But anything else stand out to you that you'd like to see from the Eagles if the Eagles are going to take down the Chiefs who are trying to three-peat here?
They've got to win on third down defensively, which is incredibly tough. Like Kansas City, and during the regular season, they were 16th in yards. They were, that's certainly nothing spectacular, but they were second on third down at 48.5%. So they're just, and again, this just goes back to Mahomes. He's able to find whatever the weakness is. Now, Philly will present few weaknesses, probably the fewest of any defense that he's faced, because even though the Chargers are better statistically, I think the Eagles have the better defense. And so in looking at it, you have to be mindful of Mahomes' mobility in a game like this. Like, this is the kind of game where, like, it'll be 3rd and 7, and he'll run for 10. And it just is a backbreaker for whatever reason. When he is able to do that more than any other player in the league, it just seems like it takes all the air out of the defense and gives the Chiefs a ton of belief. So between him running, between obviously his connection with Travis Kelce, I mean, it's remarkable how Kelce will just stop. I mean, they just have such a good feel. Kelce will break off routes, and there must be a way in which he relays it to Mahomes because they're just too good at it for there not to be. So it's just hard. Can you get them off the field on third down? I mean, no one really could this year. Again, they were kind of pedestrian offensively in a lot of numbers, but when they needed it, they got it. And if you're second in the league on third down, that is something where if the Eagles allow them to convert 50% or more on third down, they're going to lose the game.
Well, and you hit it too. And in synopsis, the Chiefs are the best team in years at being good when they have to be good. That's the bottom line. If they need a late drive to win, they get it. If they need to stop a late drive, we talked a lot this year, Hayes, all of us did, about the Jaguars, how many close games they lost. Well, that's kind of what the NFL is, man. If you think about it, what the NFL is how good are you in the last 2-3 minutes of the game? Almost every game's close. They are very good at that. I'll give you a couple other things. I do think you do need the special game from Saquon. You need I can't imagine. You made a great point. You brought up the stats from the last time these two teams played in the Super Bowl, that the Eagles running backs didn't do anything. Now Hurts had the big game as a passer mostly, but also as a runner. But I can't imagine well over 120, 130 total yards. I think he's got to rush for 100. I think he's got to have one of those big plays. I think he's got to have that kind of game. I think Saquon Barkley's got to rush for north of 100. I think he's got to make some plays in the screen game. I think he's got to, very few running backs can take over a game. Quarterbacks take over a game. Wide receivers can take over a game. Brian Thomas Jr. did it as a rookie in a handful of games here. Few running backs can take over a game. Derrick Henry did for a lot of years. I've seen Christian McCaffrey take over a game. I think he can take over the game. I mean, if he takes over, he can take over the game. I mean, he's running like crazy. You're passing the ball to him. I mean, how many times have you seen Saquon on one of those runs that looks like it's going to be, okay, well blocked, a 12-yard carry, and you look up and it's 70. He's as good at that. He's as good at that as any back we've had in the league. Gosh, Hays, in two decades, right? So he's got to have the big game. I think you're right about third down. You got to get off the field on third down. But, man, you know what leads to getting off the field on third down? Having 3rd and 12s. So you really got to win. Philadelphia's got to stuff the run. They somehow, some way, they can't let Kansas City run the football. The Chiefs are really good at staying ahead of the sticks. That's why, honest to God, I think it's one of the reasons. You read the numbers. The numbers are ordinary, but they're ahead of the sticks. And so you got to kind of win that battle. I want to make it a street fight if I'm Philadelphia. I don't want the ball flying all over the place. Like you said, they scored 35 points and Jalen Hurts passed for 300 yards last time, and they lost the game. I think if you're Philadelphia, and I said it wrong when they played the Commanders, that they didn't want to track meet. Well, they turned it into one, but they don't want a passing game track meet. You know what I mean? You don't want to be playing from behind where you've got to pass the whole time.
They'll gladly run for 7 touchdowns.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Well, and that means you're ahead. Yeah. If you're able to keep running it, that means you've led the whole game. So the Eagles have to play from ahead. I think if the Chiefs I think the Eagles are going to win the game. I don't even know why I think that. I just do. But if the Chiefs get ahead, they're not going to win the game. The Eagles aren't going to win the game. And no matter how good you are, I don't care how good you are, how confident you are, how tough you are, how physical you are, when you're playing, and we watched this with the Patriots so long, for decades. When you're playing a team that is accustomed to winning those games, you don't play as well. People make fun of the Falcons because they blew a 28-3 lead, but the minute the Patriots started coming back, the Falcons got tight. Because they're not accustomed to beating a team like the Patriots, and they know the Patriots are accustomed to beating them. I even think Jacksonville got a little tight play calling in 17.
Without a doubt.
And so because they got a lead and they got tight.
They were one step above just taking 3 knees and punting.
And so the Patriots were playing loose and free and easy because they're accustomed to winning, and the Jags with that lead shut it down offensively. So, but I think that's nerve. No one was trying to. I just think you get nervous when you're playing a team that's accustomed to winning. And that's the biggest challenge all these teams have when they play the Chiefs. Forget about, the Chiefs get all the calls and the late hits and the roughing the quarterback. The biggest advantage the Chiefs have is what the Patriots had. It's what Alabama had in college football. It's when you're playing one of these teams that's accustomed to winning, you play tighter because you don't expect to beat them, and they play looser. If anybody tells you that's not a thing, they're wrong, man. It is the team that wins all the time expects to win, and the team that has not been in that role. So if the Chiefs play from ahead in this game at all, they're going to win the game. Now, I don't see the Eagles coming back from 21-9 to win the ball game. I think they've got to kind of stay ahead. Barkley's got to play well. You're right. They've got to get off the field on third down, and I think that means winning first and second down, so it's a lot of third and long. That's what I think.
Yeah, and the other thing, too, about this game is the tush push. I mean, Philadelphia's got to be perfect with it. If Kansas City gets a couple stops on that, and they might, Spagnuolo will have a great plan for whatever great plan you can come up with for something that's basically a Neanderthal play, he'll have it.
Well, he certainly, and Buffalo doesn't tush push quite like Philadelphia does, but the key to the game would be the way they kept stuffing those quarterback sneaks. And maybe why they beat the Bills.
Yeah, and so in Philadelphia's got to be flawless with that. And they've had issues. Look, the Jaguars stopped it. And so they're still really good at converting it, but they're not the automatic that they were with Travis Kelce last year. And so it's still a very effective play. Obviously, we saw the issues that it's given teams in this tournament playing the Eagles, where we found out, I didn't even know that you could theoretically score a touchdown because the opponent kept jumping off sides inside of the 1 yard line.
I mean, they could award you a touchdown.
Yeah, which is crazy. So, so obviously that is going, at some point, Philadelphia is going to be faced with either a third, fourth down at the goal line or somewhere where Sirianni is elected to go for it. And they've got to convert that. If they do not convert that, that's the kind of momentum thing that the Chiefs will turn into points in a hurry and seize the momentum back. That's the thing about Kansas City is they just do such a great job of stealing the momentum. And you've got to be good on special teams too. The Chiefs won a game this year because they blocked a field goal at the end. So they're outstanding in every regard. It could come down to the kickers, neither one of which has been particularly strong this year. They've had great careers, but they both have not had years normal for them.
And Butker fought the injury. He was hurt about half the year.
And so that's something as well that Philadelphia is got to at least have a draw, I'd say, in the special teams component. But if Philadelphia executes the tush push, I do think they'll be able to get pressure on Mahomes, and I think they'll be able to slow down Kansas City's ground game. So if they can stop Mahomes from being a hero, they can win. But no one's been able to do that outside of, Tom Brady's Buccaneers when Mahomes basically had no chance behind a beat-up offensive line. So, in looking at it, obviously you got to stop Mahomes. That's going to be at some point in this game, they're going to have to get a stop on Mahomes. No one seems to be able to do it. For some reason, I think this group of Eagles will be able to get that done.
What is the significance of Kansas City winning is obvious. It'll be the first three-peat ever. They'll be one of the great dynasties in NFL history if they're not already. There's no debating that. What is the significance in your mind if Philadelphia wins it? Anything or just a one-off?
I think, absolutely. I think it would say a lot about their organization. They will have won 2 Super Bowls in a fairly close amount of time with 2 different head coaches. So that, I think, as an organization, puts you on a pretty impressive level. It was sort of like that with San Francisco in the 80s, winning it with Walsh and then Seifert. Obviously Dallas was able to do it, going Jimmy Johnson to Barry Switzer. So, I think when you're able to do that with a different coach, I think that as an organization puts you on a different plateau. So I think Philly has more to gain as an organization from winning it than really any. Obviously, like Sirianni, it'll obviously help. He's kind of like the Ryan Day in the NFL. So it'll stabilize Sirianni's world in Philadelphia. Obviously, for Jalen Hurts, it really adds to his legacy of somebody that now can start to be viewed as one of the most important players of his generation. Obviously, it makes Saquon Barkley, assuming if the Eagles win, he has a big game. It helps cement him as one of the greatest backs of his generation. But I think more than anything, I think it solidifies Philadelphia's ownership and their front office as being one of the best in the league, to be able to go from Doug Peterson to Nick Sirianni and have both of those guys lead them to Super Bowl triumphs.
I also agree with all that. I also think this. If the Eagles win, they could be sending a message that a different style can win. Jalen Hurts is a damn good player, but he's not ever going to be the dynamic player that Mahomes and Burrow and Lamar and on and on and on. He's not going to be Josh Allen. He's never going to be looked at that way. He's short. He's physical. He's tough, but he's never going to be looked at as they're going to look like a team that ran the football to win a championship. Who's the last team that did that? The Steelers? Back in
because the Flacco Ravens actually threw it really well.
They really
in that
did.
tournament.
They were a better passing team than most of the teams they played. So if you look at teams that prove they can do it by running the football.
Yeah, you have to go back a way simply because Mahomes and Brady have won basically every championship
Correct.
for the last 10 years.
Yeah, other than the one-offs, that's right. And they've done it. They've done it because they are superior passers. They would win the team without being a superior passer. The Rams year, Stafford was a superior passer. Even the one-off years, it was teams that have passed the football. And so, the Bucs year, it was Brady. I think there's a statement to that. The statement's always been the most physical team wins. We've had that conversation about the Jags, but it would be a big statement about toughness, physicality, great running back, running quarterback. Because he's run the ball well in these playoffs. He's run for touchdowns left and right. So it's a great clash of styles. And again, I can't wait to watch the Super Bowl. I think it's going to be a very good one. Let's take a break. Hayes has headlines on the other side on a Friday. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
If you need an insurance agent, I'll recommend the best guy in town, State Farm agent Craig Dewhurst. Call him at 940-9740. Really good guy, really good agent. Life insurance, homeowners, automotive, you name it, he'll handle it for you. Tell him what you need. He'll assess your whole situation. What kind of coverage do you need? How much coverage? What should your deductible be? What do you make and how does it fit your cost and your rates? You will love dealing with Craig. What a nice guy he is and how he'll help you get the right answers. The best in the business. Craig Dewhurst from State Farm, 940-9740.
1010XL's Dan Hicken dominated Folio Weekly's Best of 2024. Best TV sports anchor, Dan Hicken. Best radio sports anchor, Dan Hicken. Best radio sports show starring Dan Hicken. 1010XL, the home of Dan Hicken.
I'm Renee Harrell. At Harrell & Harrell, we understand when you've been in an accident, there's a lot to handle. You've lost pay, and now the medical bills are piling up. When there isn't much insurance, some attorneys will pay your bills, take their fee, leaving you with even less than them. Not at Harrell & Harrell. We'll work hard to reduce your medical bills, and we promise our fee will never be more than you take home. Call us today, 904-251-1111. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Offices, Jacksonville.
Mia here. It's the Everything's on sale going on now at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. Get $0 down and just $288 per month for a pre-owned 2022 Toyota Corolla. Or you choose a pre-owned 2021 Camry, RAV4, or Tacoma for $0 down and only $388 per month. Or how about no payments till July 2025? And you get 60 days to love your purchase or exchange it. Shop the Everything's on sale at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned today on Atlantic Boulevard, just a quarter mile east of 295 and at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/save for more details.
Jacksonville, get ready to spice up your night at One Night Taco Stand. Every Taco Tuesday, enjoy their mouth-watering tacos for just $2.99 and get your weekend started with 2-for-1 house margaritas. Find fresh Mexican street food, stiff drinks, and fun vibes at One Night Taco Stand with 3 Jacksonville locations in Mandarin, Orange Park, and Southside at Bay Meadows.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
The Jacksonville Icemen are back home Friday and Saturday night as they battle the Trois-Rivières Lions. Friday's game is Cancer Awareness Night, presented by Liberty Landscape. Come support the Icemen as they fight to stick it to cancer. Saturday, bring your dog to the game for Pucks and Paws Night, presented by Forever Vets Animal Hospital. 7 o'clock at ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena. Tickets at Ticketmaster, JacksIcemen.com, or call 904-602-PUCK. Iceman Hockey is #FrozenFrenzy.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code TURN to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code TURN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code TURN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
This month, 1010XL shines the spotlight on African Americans in our community who have made the First Coast a better place to live. I'm E.T. Listen for my stories during Black History Month on 1010XL. Brought to you by Instant Keys and McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation Center.
After consulting with several orthopedic specialists about my constant knee pain, I chose Southeast Orthopedic Specialist and Dr. Chris Swanson to handle my surgery. Their professionalism let me know this team was the one for me. The surgery was very successful, and if I ever have a future need, I'll continue to trust Southeast Orthopedic Specialists to take care of me.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Bueller.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, pal, what's the matter?
I don't know about this air conditioner, Jason.
You know, my job is actually to...
I mean, 1 minute it's working, and the next minute it's not working. And every time I leave the house, I don't know if I'm coming back to a nice, cool oasis or a steaming cesspool of sweaty garbage fumes and dog farts, and then I'll never get to sleep. And I'll be too late to call someone. And what if I've got a big meeting the next morning and I haven't slept a wink?
Okay, dude. Stay cool. Or at least stay cooler.
But
Bueller Air and Plumbing can figure out why your AC only works sometimes and not all the time. We fix that kind of stuff every day.
You mean you can...
Life moves pretty fast. If you spend all your time worrying about an air conditioner that can totally be fixed, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round. It's Hays' Headlines, presented by Harrell & Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hays Carlyon.
All right, we got lots to get to here. Welcome back to the Frangie Show. Frank Frangie, JJ LaSelva. I am Hays Carlyon. Thank you to our friends at Harrell & Harrell. Give them a call at 251-1111. Frank, we will start with Liam Cohen finalizing his coaching staff. Vikings assistant offensive line coach Sean Sarrett will be the Jaguars offensive line coach. That was certainly a notable, as was Edgar Bennett, local football hero, will be the receivers coach after a 7-year stint with the Raiders.
Yeah, what stands out is, for the most part, is a young staff. And it's a staff of young, highly regarded football coaches. Hopefully they'll be as good as we hope they are. I have no reason to believe they won't. If you like the coaching hire, and you know me, I told you, again, I was a Doug Peterson guy. I wouldn't have fired him. Once he was fired, I told you Cohen's probably near the top of my list. Certainly in the top 2 or 3 of my list, well before it ever started. So if you trust the coach, and I do, hopefully got it right. A bunch of young, aspiring football coaches, and it's going to be fun to watch them work.
Absolutely.
And by the way, and I love that Edgar's back. Edgar Bennett's a good guy, and him coming home is fantastic.
That, without a doubt, that'll be a lot of fun. Congratulations to Jaguars defensive lineman Eric Armstead, named the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year last night for his charitable works. That is an outstanding honor for Eric Armstead. So certainly congratulations for all the great things he has done off the field. The 31-year-old Armstead had 29 tackles and 2 sacks last season for the Jaguars, his first in Jacksonville.
Yeah, the whole moving him outside as the third end didn't work. It is what it is. He says he's going to move back inside next year. We'll see. That was before there was even a coach hired, so we'll see. But what a good person. What a good person, and that is a big-time award, man. That is a big-time award when you are the man of the year in the NFL, and it shows you how much the league respects the good things he does in the community.
Some controversy at the NFL Honors last night as Buffalo's Josh Allen wins MVP over Baltimore's Lamar Jackson. Allen became the first player in 21 seasons to win MVP, but not be the first team All-Pro selection.
Yeah, there shouldn't have been controversy. Josh Allen's very deserving. So there should never be controversy over someone winning. I would have voted for Lamar. Lamar Jackson would have been my vote for the MVP. But I'm never going to fault a guy for winning, and shame on anyone that, look, they're all really good. Lamar, Josh Allen, and Saquon Barkley, if any of the three would have won, I wouldn't have had a problem in the world with it. I would have voted for Lamar, but I'm totally okay with Josh Allen winning.
Yeah, and I don't think it was like people thought Josh Allen wasn't deserving. It was more like you're the same voting block.
Yeah.
It's the same people.
It was just weird.
So how did you vote Lamar Jackson first team All-Pro,
right,
but then decide, but he's not MVP, it's Josh Allen? It just didn't make a ton of sense. But anyway, there you go. Patrick Surtain wins Defensive Player of the Year, the talented Broncos corner. Saquon Barkley, no surprise, wins Offensive Player of the Year. Jaden Daniels was Offensive Rookie of the Year. And Jared Verse, who we were high on basically from the time he stepped foot at Florida State, Defensive Rookie of the Year out in L.A. with the Rams. So congratulations to the former Seminole. What a great group of honorees.
Hard to believe Jared Verse played most of his college career at Albany.
I know.
I mean, it's
because he's built like a five-star.
No
if you
question.
see Jared Verse, he looks like he would have been the number one player in the country his final year of high school.
Remember at the combine? I mean, what an unbelievable player, and what a collection of players that Florida State team had. I mean, the shame of Travis getting hurt and them not getting in and not seeing how far that thing could go. Because what a collection of players they had. Good. Jared Verse is a really good player. Good for him.
Absolutely. Let's get it to the Pro Football Hall of Fame class. No Fred Taylor, which was incredibly disappointing. And frankly, a stunning result across the board. It's the smallest class since 2005, as Antonio Gates, Eric Allen, Sterling Sharp, and Jared Allen are the newest members. But Sharp was from the leadership, the senior committee. So really just Gates, Allen, and Allen are the ones that get in from the modern day list. So makes it really tough. Eli Manning, Luke Kuechly, Terrell Suggs, not in his first time eligible players. So a lot of notable snubs in addition to Fred Taylor.
Yeah, there's no doubt in my. I never see a guy get in and say he didn't deserve it. If you've played long enough to even get consideration, you had one heck of a career. I certainly think Jared Allen and Antonio Gates, for me, would be no-brainers.
Yes.
Eric Allen, Sterling Sharp. Again, I'm not going to criticize anybody that gets in. Good for you. You've earned your way in. A Hall of Famer is a Hall of Famer. But two stood out to me of the ones that made it. And I hate it for Fred. I think Fred's a Hall of Fame running back. I think he belongs in Canton. And I hope he gets there sooner rather than later.
Looking ahead to the 2026 class, Drew Brees and Larry Fitzgerald will be eligible. So you have to think that's two spots locked up. Other first-timers will be Frank Gore, Jason Witten, and Phillip Rivers. So what's already quite a logjam to get into the Pro Football Hall of Fame will only get harder next year.
Yeah, the classes are getting tougher. There's a lot. We are in the high-flying offensive age, and a lot of the players that played in that, a lot of them, the Eli's and the Drew Brees and so many of them, are becoming eligible. That's exactly right.
Frank, who's going to win the Super Bowl? Give us a score and give us the MVP of the game.
I think Saquon's going to be the MVP. Barely over Jalen Hurts. I think he's going to have a special game. I think they've got to turn it into a street fight. I think the Chiefs are magnificent, but there's a reason no one's won 3 in a row. I think they're better at knowing how to win than anybody, even when they don't have their A game. But I think this is a tough out for them. I know most people are picking Kansas City. I'm usually the guy that doesn't go against the chalk like this. I usually pick the team that, until you prove to me that you're not going to win it again, I pick the Patriots probably every one they were ever in. But I think the Eagles are going to win, and I think Saquon's going to be the MVP. You?
I like the Eagles 27-20, and I'll go with Jalen Hurts for MVP. Let's get it to around the NFL. Gus Bradley, former Jaguars coach, joining San Francisco staff to work under defensive coordinator Robert Saleh, Bradley's former pupil.
Yeah, they were good friends. They respect each other. They're both all-world good guys, and I'm glad Gus found a good landing spot. Gus is really good. It'll be odd for Gus. I can't remember the last time he was either not the head coach or the coordinator He'll be working under a coordinator with whom he's very close and respects a great deal, and it's a great organization. It's a good, all-time good guy, good for Gus.
Yeah, certainly has a chance to win big right away with the 49ers. In college football news, Deion Sanders hires Marshall Faulk as Colorado's running backs coach. Faulk had 12,279 rushing yards in his NFL career with 100 touchdowns, while also netting 6,875 receiving yards and 36 more scores. He was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2011.
I have no idea if Marshall Faulk will be a good coach. I don't know anything about him as a coach. But I think Deion knows what he's doing, and so it'll be fun to watch.
Let's get to college basketball. The Gators go to number 1 Auburn tomorrow. Todd Golden says Walter Clayton will play. Elijah Martin questionable with a hip injury, but Golden thinks he will play. Frank, what are the chances the Gators can pull the upset?
Yeah, I don't think the Gators are going to beat Auburn. They've played pretty well against Auburn over the years of late, but those games have all been in Gainesville. It's hard to win there. It really is hard. Auburn's got the best team in the country. I said that even before Janai Broome got hurt. Really have felt that way watching how well they played without him, and now he's back to 6'10", the lefty, the 6'10" post player who's such a good player, one of the best players in college basketball. I don't think Florida can win that game. Can they? I think Florida could beat Auburn on a neutral court, and certainly in Gainesville, but 68 straight sellouts, I think. It's a great home court advantage. It's the best team in America. It's going to be hard to go get them there.
We were at UNF for yesterday's show, and the Ospreys got a much-needed win, holding off Bellarmine 95-88. 4 Ospreys scored at least 16 points. UNF out-rebounded Bellarmine 37-24, improving to 6-5 in ASUN play, which puts the Ospreys in solo 7th place.
Yeah, they're well-positioned. The problem for both JU and UNF is some brutal schedules coming up, but that was a good win for the Ospreys, no question.
JU gets a huge road win at Stetson, 74-65, playing without star Robert McCray. Kendall Munson picked up the slack, scoring 23 points with 7 rebounds. JU out-rebounded Stetson 45-34 with 16 offensive rebounds. The Dolphins also played strong defense, holding Stetson to 36.8% shooting from the field.
Let me tell you how good a win that was. You didn't have Rob McCray. He's by far your best player. He's the guy that dominates the ball when he plays. He didn't play because he was sick. Let me tell you what else. Zemi Wakaji barely played. He's their second best player. So your best player didn't play. Your second best player barely played and didn't impact the game. It's next man up, and that guy Munson played great. That's a good win for JU.
Absolutely. JU improved to 8-3 in conference play. Florida Gulf Coast lost to Eastern Kentucky, so JU now in a 5-way tie for first with Gulf Coast, Lipscomb, North Alabama, and Queens. Let's get it to Indiana. Mike Woodson reportedly stepping down at the end of the season. The Hoosiers are 14-9 and 5-7 in Big Ten play after starting the season ranked 17th in the preseason. This is a big boy job. Do you pursue this job if you're Todd Golden?
No, you're the Gator coach. What the hell is a dumb question? Why would you even ask it? I don't think Todd Golden's going anywhere, at least not right now. But Indiana is a blue blood. If you were going to leave, it would be hard not to be enticed by that one. I will tell you that. It's an ultimate blue blood job. I don't sense the Gators are going to lose Todd Golden to this job, but it is a very, very good job. It's after Kansas, Duke, North Carolina, Kentucky, maybe UCLA. It's about the bluest blood out there. I think it's bluer than Louisville, don't you?
Yes.
I think it's bluer than Michigan State or Syracuse or UConn. I think it's the ultimate blue blood job after you get beyond the first 4 or 5 or so.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. Joe Lunardi has updated his bracketology. He has 3 SEC teams as 1 seeds: Auburn, Alabama, and Tennessee. Florida is a 2 seed in the East, where Duke is a 1 seed. Lunardi has 13 SEC teams in the field. Just simply remarkable.
13 from one conference in the 68-team field, and you know what? They probably all belong in, Hays. I don't feel like he's missed on any of them. I really don't.
Let's get it to golf. The Phoenix Open. Scotty Scheffler has worked his way into contention for the weekend. He's 7 under after shooting a 5 under 66. Finds himself in a tie for 8th place.
Yeah, Scheffler took a tournament or 2 off. Said, okay, it's time to get going now. Golf is better when Rory McIlroy's winning. Who said it last week? Golf's been better when Scheffler's winning too.
Without a doubt. Hat tip to Florida volleyball coach Mary Wise, who retired yesterday after 34 years at UF. The 65-year-old Wise has the 4th most wins in NCAA history and led the Gators to 25 SEC championships.
Wow. One of the most respected coaches in any sport in the history of that university. I'll say it again. One of the most respected coaches in any sport in the history of the University of Florida, and a wonderful person, too. She really is. So, what a career for the great Mary Wise.
Yes, and we will start heading into our weekend with some music, our musical note of the day, because on this date, back in 1983, Toto hits the number 1 spot on the Billboard charts with Africa, the 10th and final song on Toto's 4th album, Toto 4. Africa remains one of the most recognizable and popular songs from the 1980s.
You're telling me it was on this date they blessed the rain?
That's right.
Oh, my goodness. How good is this song?
Oh, it's fantastic.
How good was it in person when we saw it in person? It was magnificent, wasn't it?
It was incredible. And it was so funny how it was like, well, I guess we got one more song to go.
Yeah. We kind of knew. We kind of knew they had missed one, right? This is a great song. This is a truly great song.
Holds up incredibly well.
It really does. Well done.
Thank you.
We'll be back to wrap the program right after this.
The moonlit wings reflect the stars that guide me towards salvation.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Visa in Action update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The latest lines for Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans between Kansas City and Philadelphia. The Chiefs a 1-point favorite, -120 on the money line, while the Eagles even money with the over-under at 48.5. Some in-game prop bets, each team to score at least 1 touchdown in each half, -115. Kansas City to score a touchdown and a field goal in each half, +275. The Eagles to do the same, +300. A player to score an octopus, which is a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, +1,300. Each team to score 2 touchdowns in each half, also +1,300. Earn cash back on your gaming transactions with the GBank Signature Visa Card at vsin.com/GBank. I'm Tony Desiri with your Visa in Action update on 1010XL.
Love is in the air this February, but nothing kills the mood like a plumbing or HVAC problem. Whether it's a leaky pipe, a backed up septic tank, or your heater isn't keeping things cozy, don't worry. We've got you covered. Call Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. Our expert team is here to keep your home running smooth, no matter the issue. When you're stuck, call the Duck, 904-862-6769, or online at duckduckrooter.com.
Hi, folks. I'm Frank Frangie. If you have a sweet tooth like me, the sweetest desserts in town come from Spoonful Bakery. Spoonful is an online bakery. They deliver boxes of assorted desserts right to your home or office. They're so good, and they make for great gifts for friends or clients. And if you want custom orders, wedding cakes or birthday cakes, or catered desserts for an event, they are the best. Log on to spoonful-bakery.com or call them at 904-515-4984. That's Spoonful Bakery for the sweetest desserts in town.
Before the Great American Race on Sunday, the high banks of Daytona heat up with a Saturday night showdown in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Experience the intense competition up close on the sport's biggest stage to kick off the 2025 season. The NASCAR Xfinity Series at Daytona International Speedway, Saturday, February 15th. Tickets start at just $49, and kids 12 and under are free in general admission. Secure your seats now at DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com.
Hi, I'm Frank Frangie, and I've depended on South State for my banking needs as long as they've been serving Duval. Whether you're saving for retirement, purchasing a home, starting a business, your goals are their commitment. With forward-thinking, personalized banking solutions and best-in-class service, South State is ready to help you navigate your financial journey. Connect at southstatebank.com or drop by any of the 5 local South State offices. South State Bank, member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
You can't go inside your home team's locker room, so Jags beat reporter Hays Carlyon goes there for you.
Work on three, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Hays Carlyon here. Find my blog at 1010XL.com.
Brought to you by Roland Reach Plumbing, where quality and experience count.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
E to the T here, and Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find the scratch kitchen that comes through in the clutch every day, from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar. Come on, somebody.
Prosser here, still telling you about Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Lifetime Enclosures is keeping the sale going into February. Enclosures starting at only $89 a month, and if you get a complete enclosure done, you get free flooring. If you just need flooring, Lifetime Flooring is running a buy one room, get the second room free. Now offering floor coating for that garage or patio deck too. Give them a call or visit their showrooms just off Phillips Highway. Proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwood Jewelers. Clayton, you have told us about the importance of cutting a diamond properly and how it relates back to beauty and value. But how do you judge the color of a diamond?
Frank, that's an important question when it comes to diamonds. You see, a man or a woman really have no color memory. Now, you can remember basic colors like blue or red, but considering we can see thousands of slight variations of the same color, you have to have a master color to relate these two. Anybody that's ever tried to match a paint color on a wall knows exactly what I'm talking about. So we judge the color of diamonds using a set of certified master diamonds from the American Gem Society. This is the only way you can really make an accurate call on the grade because these slight variations in color from colorless to very slight yellow have huge price differences.
That's at Underwood's, where diamonds are graded accurately in San Marco, Avondale, and the shops of Ponte Vedra.
Hey, sports fans, it's Hays Carlyon from MyBookie. Eagles and Chiefs, this isn't just the biggest game of the year. It's the ultimate betting event. If you're not on MyBookie, you're missing out on the action. Big game betting with MyBookie goes beyond just picking the winner. We've got all the wild props you can think of for this epic showdown. MyBookie loves giving you options to bet on everything. What really makes MyBookie stand out, we make it easy to win and even easier to get paid. Whether you deposit with crypto or credit, bonuses await, and our new loyalty program gives you cash back just for playing. Bet on big game boosted parlays, live betting, and jackpots that can turn small bets into big wins. Fast signups, lightning fast payouts. This is where winners play. Why just watch when you can own the big game? Sign up with MyBookie now. Use promo code 1010XL and get your 50% sign-up bonus to kick things off. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere, only with MyBookie.
Mia here. Since 1982, Closets by Design has specialized in creating dream spaces for every budget. My designer, Frances, made the process so easy. She came to my house and designed a beautiful walk-in closet that's already so incredibly functional for me and old Beau Valentine. Call today to schedule your free in-home consultation at 1-800-293-3744 or visit closetsbydesign.com. And take advantage of extended savings this month. Get 40% off and another 15% off with 18-month special financing.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air, Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since '87.
All right, where we've been on the program today, we have talked a great deal about the Jag staff. We went through the entire staff. They released them all. Good to see Edgar Bennett coming home. That's the one that kind of stood out that we had not heard about before. At least I had not heard about it. And he'll be coaching the wide receivers in his hometown. That's awesome stuff. He is a former player at what is now Riverside High School. It was Lee High School then. Good to see him back. And he played at Florida State and with the Packers. It was a terrific NFL player. So we talked about the staff. That was a lot of fun going through that. We talked about the Super Bowl, the significance of the win if it's Philadelphia. We know what the significance is if Kansas City wins it, the first team to ever three-peat. And, boy, they're really good. So congratulate them if they do, for sure. We talked about the fact that Fred Taylor did not make the Hall of Fame. I thought he should have, and I hope he does get in there. We certainly covered that. We talked some college basketball. Florida at Auburn tomorrow. You're playing on the road against the best team in America. That's certainly going to be a tough one. We'll see what happens. JU and UNF, what a dogfight in the Atlantic Sun. 11 games in, 5 teams tied for first place at 8-3. JU, one of those teams. UNF only 2 games back. They're also over 500 at 6-5. So it's going to be a fun stretch run for the Ospreys, and that's where we've been over the course of the program today. How about Hubie Brown at 91 years old he's going to call a game. Call a game on Sunday.
It's incredible. He was on with Chris Mad Dog Russo, who's obviously joined us in the past, and Hubie Brown really started to kind of break down. I didn't realize the personal tragedy that he has gone through. He's lost his wife. He's lost 2 children. I think 2 of the 4 that he and his wife had. One, I think a daughter died at 54 and a son at 57 or something like that. So Hubie actually sort of broke down. It was sort of towards the tail end of the interview, but really touching, and what a life in basketball. And he's so appreciative to all the sacrifice that that his wife made, and to benefit his career. What a great mom she'd been. So what an outstanding person Hubie Brown is. And it's hard to believe, because I remember in college I thought he was old.
Yeah.
Like he's just one of these guys that he's always looked old.
Right.
And so it's like, how is he still doing this? If I was watching him call Magic games, like if they were with Shaq and Penny and they were like the national game, how is in 2025 Hubie Brown still doing this? But
and still good at it. And still good at it. That's the thing. He so it'll be good. 91 years old. 91. And he'll be calling a game, his final game. All right, time now for a 10-10 take.
10-10 take.
The 10-10 take is sponsored by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck, duckduckrooter.com. Here's what I'll tell you about the Florida Gator basketball team. If they win tomorrow, they will be a 1 seed. That's what the significance of tomorrow's game is. If they win that game, they'll be 20-3. They'll be 7-3 in the league. If they win, and then they will have confidence as they move on to now a very an easier stretch of their schedule. If they win tomorrow, they'll have great confidence when they go to Starkville on Tuesday night, and then when they play 4 straight unranked teams. That's how significant this team is. They were a 1 seed in 2014. They have rarely been a 1 seed. I think twice ever in the NCAA tournament have they been a 1 seed. They will be a 1 seed if they wind up winning on Saturday, tomorrow against Auburn, and that's the 10-10 take. Agreed?
Yeah, well, certainly they would have an outstanding shot at it. I do think they would jump Tennessee in the net, so they would be among the top 4. And yeah, I think in looking at it, it's interesting that Auburn is incredibly old. Their entire starting lineup is either seniors or graduate guys. So This is an unbelievably seasoned, experienced club. Auburn, as we've talked about with those 12 quad 1 wins, what's really impressive, their average margin of victory this season is 18.5. Now, Florida's is 17.6. So, I mean, again, this is their average. When they play, what happens? Auburn wins by 18.5. Florida wins by 17.6. But Florida's played a weaker schedule. Rebounding is going to be very key. Florida is plus 9.9 a game. That number keeps coming down, but Florida's still with a really good figure there. Auburn is plus 6.6. So, Auburn's used to winning the rebounding battle, by a pretty good margin, but Florida's used to winning it significantly. Florida's got to take care of the glass. I mean, if Florida can out-rebound Auburn, I think Florida can score with Auburn. It's going to come down to can they remotely slow Auburn down enough to get the win. I think the game's going to look a lot like the game at Rupp Arena earlier this season. I think a lot of points. I think Florida probably doesn't have enough to get it done. Be a valiant effort, be a really entertaining game, but ultimately I think Auburn wins.
Yeah, I do too. And again, you used the phrase house money, and that's pretty close. What they can't do, certainly what I hope they don't do, is go up there and lay an egg. They laid an egg against Tennessee on just about every front, and to your point, they match up better here because Auburn, as much as they'll score, they won't defend them the way Tennessee did. But Florida's got to find an offensive rhythm. They've got it. They're inside guys, although Condon was very good against Vanderbilt, are not good scorers. They don't finish around the rim a lot. There's a lot of these jump hooks and reverse layups that roll off the rim. By the way, who's good around the basket? Will Richard's good around the basket. Will Richard, when he does one of those little reverse layups, I'm more confident he's going to make them than I do the big guys around the basket. So the big guys are not great finishers. So those guards will have to score. I am interested to see if Urban Clavsar plays. I remember, for people that don't know, they were down Clayton. Martin was beat up. They had to go deeper under the bench. This guy, Urban Clavsar, who's just a freshman from Europe, made 2 huge threes. We've heard all year, how he drains those threes in practice. But the little bit of playing time, he had played 6 minutes in the SEC all year long, and the little bit of playing time he's gotten, he hadn't made anything. But he made 2 big threes, so it'll be interesting to see. Super Bowl.
It is a chance for history for Florida. They are 0-7 lifetime on the road versus number 1.
So there you go. They could change that. It's also a chance for history in the Super Bowl if Kansas City wins. The first team to ever win 3 in a row. You like Philadelphia. Quickly,
I do.
Why?
I like the Eagles 27-20, too physical for the Chiefs.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think Philadelphia's going to win. I don't know why. I rarely go against the chalk like this. I never picked against the Patriots in all those years. But I think the physicality, and the greatness of Saquon Barkley will determine the outcome of the game. Let's say hello to Rick below.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. Find the coolest cats in town at coolcatsjacks.com.
Have you made your prediction?
I got to run one more cycle through the lab.
Okay.
And so that'll be coming up at some point. I got a guest coming on in 45 minutes. He could possibly sway me.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm pretty
Ron
dead set on what I'm
Jaworski?
going to do.
Ron Jaworski?
Not going to be Jaws. It's going to be Jacksonville resident or Jacksonville native Harold Carmichael.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, Harold's not coming on, but
Okay.
it'd be great to talk to him.
Yeah. So, but
the first real big wide receiver, right?
I think Philadelphia's going to beat them.
Yeah.
And Hays
I've been leaning that way all week.
You have been?
I have. I think they're a better team.
Yeah, I do too. Now there's the Mahomes magic, and the Mahomes magic is always won, just about. But I do too. I think the Eagles have a really good, tough, hard-nosed, big physical football team.
Yeah, I sit here and I keep saying that I think Philly, especially if they can rush 4, the way that the Giants beat the Patriots those 2 years by rushing 4. I keep looking at Philly and everything goes through my head and said they're the better team. They're going to win. But if you ask me to write a script, it would be Kansas City gets the ball last, kicks a field goal, and wins.
Because that's what happens.
That's what they do every single week.
Great point.
That's what I'm going up against.
Yeah,
and
good point.
It's a little petrifying, to be honest with you.
It's coming up tonight.
All of that. Got some good stuff here on the Jags as well. Obviously their staff is solidified. I like just about all of their moves. I have one question mark, which I'm not overly up on, so I'm going to dive into that during the show. And we'll talk about last night. I mean, what's up with these Hall of Fame voters? They're like crusty old baseball voters. Yeah. How can you only vote 4 in?
I totally agree with you.
I would have voted like 7 in.
Yeah,
last night.
Totally agree with you. Very, very good. Point. So, all right, very good. I totally agree with you. All coming up. Rick Ballou goes into the night. That happens right now. That'll do it for our program. Don't go anywhere. Rick's gonna have all that Hall of Fame talk, Jaguar talk, Super Bowl, and a whole lot more coming up on his program. We're out here for Hays, for JJ. I'm Frank Frangie. So long.